Hey there, my barrel blasting Kongs and golden banjo buddies. Get ready to jump back in time to the era of chunky cartridges and blocky graphics, because today we're diving into the iconic world of Donkey Kong 64.
So they're finally here, performing for you. If you know the words, you can join in.
This isn't just any old trip down memory lane. We're going bananas with a deep dive into one of the most ambitious and, yes, sometimes infuriating games of the late 90s. But here's a question to chew on. How did a game that basically turned collecting bananas into a full-time job become a cult classic? Was it the groundbreaking leap from 2D to 3D, or was there something more to this primate's tale? Buckle up, because we're about to unravel the mysteries of DK Isle, one banana at a time.
DK, Donkey Kong, DK, Donkey Kong is here.
Let's rewind to the late 90s to the origins of Donkey Kong 64. Developed by Rareware, this game marked a significant shift in the Donkey Kong series. The transition from 2D to 3D was a bold move, fueled by the success of games like Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. But why fix what isn't broken? Well, the gaming world was evolving, and Rareware wasn't about to let the Donkey Kong get left behind. Leading this venture was a group of talented developers, including the game's producer, Shigeru Miyamoto, who had already made a name for himself with the success of Super Mario 64. Under his guidance, the team set out to transform the beloved 2D platformer into a 3D adventure. George Andreas served as the game's director, bringing a fresh perspective to the Donkey Kong world.
やっぱりね、達成感だと思うんですね。
The development team's vision was grand. They aimed to build an expansive world filled with diverse environments, intricate puzzles, and dynamic characters. However, this vision wasn't without its technical challenges. The N64, while a powerful console for its time, had limitations that the team needed to creatively overcome. A significant breakthrough came with the inclusion of the expansion pack. This decision was driven by necessity as much as innovation. The game's elaborate design and advanced graphics required more memory than the standard N64 could offer. The expansion pack, initially an optional accessory for the console, became an essential component bundled with the game to ensure a smooth, crash-free experience. Throughout the development process, the team continually pushed the boundaries of what was possible on the N64. They introduced a range of playable characters, each with unique abilities, adding a strategic layer to the gameplay. This decision was a significant departure from the previous Donkey Kong games and required careful consideration in level design and game mechanics.
Oh, isn't that great news?
Donkey Kong 64 unfolds a tale that is both simple in its premise and intricate in its execution. The story begins with a familiar face with the big bad, King K. Rool, who, in his unyielding quest to defeat Donkey Kong, devises a new diabolical plan. This time, he's not just going after the Kongs, he's threatening their very home. K. Rool aims to obliterate DK Isle with a colossal, laser-wielding mechanical island. As the game begins, the stakes are immediately high. The Kongs find their island under siege, and their precious golden bananas, symbols of their hard-earned victories in past adventures, stolen. But the plot thickens when the Kongs themselves are captured. Save for Donkey Kong. It's a classic setup. The hero must first rescue his allies before they can collectively confront the looming threat. Each rescue of a Kong family member is more than just a plot point. It's a strategic expansion of the player's abilities. Diddy Kong, once freed, brings his agility and peanut guns into play. Lanky Kong, with his unusual reach, unlocks new areas previously inaccessible. Tiny Kong, through her ability to shrink, reveals hidden paths and secrets. And lastly, Chunky Kong adds brute strength to the team's arsenal. The story cleverly intertwines with the gameplay, as each character's liberation and unique skills are vital to progress through the game's challenges and puzzles. The story gains intensity as the Kongs gather the keys needed to access K. Rool's fortress, a journey that takes them across various landscapes, each with its own challenges and mini narratives. The final showdown with K. Rool is more than just a battle. It's the culmination of the Kong's journey, a testament to their resilience and teamwork. In Donkey Kong 64, gameplay mechanics are not just a series of challenges, they are the beating heart of adventure. This game took the familiar platforming formula and turbocharged it with a cocktail of innovation and complexity.
Here we go.
Let's start with the character switch mechanic. Unlike its predecessor, Donkey Kong 64 introduced multiple playable characters, each with unique abilities. This wasn't just a cosmetic variation, it fundamentally altered the way players approach the game. You had to strategize which Kong to use for a specific task. Need to reach a high ledge? Lanky's your guy. Got to blast through some doors? Better call on Chunky. This mechanic deepened the gameplay, transforming it from a linear path to a dynamic puzzle. Then there's the collectibles. Oh yes, the collectibles. Bananas, banana coins, golden bananas, blueprints, and more. The game turned collecting into an art form, and perhaps a slight obsession. Each collectible served a purpose, whether unlocking new areas, gaining access to boss fights, or simply boosting your score. This plethora of items to collect added layers of depth to the game, encouraging exploration and rewarding thoroughness.
Then why did I use up my best material on this?
The level design in Donkey Kong 64 deserves a spotlight of its own. Each level was a labyrinth ecosystem filled with puzzles, enemies, and secrets. The levels were designed not just to challenge the players, but to be a playground for the Kong's diverse abilities. The game consistently nudged players to revisit levels with different characters, unlocking new areas and challenges previously inaccessible. But what really set Donkey Kong 64 apart was its ambitious approach to 3D gameplay. It wasn't just about moving from left to right anymore. It was about exploring up, down, and all around. The game pushed the boundaries of 3D space, creating a sense of freedom and exploration that was groundbreaking at the time. When it comes to commercial performance, Donkey Kong 64 was a heavyweight champion in the N64 lineup. Upon its release in November 1999, the game quickly climbed the sales charts, showcasing the enduring appeal of the Donkey Kong franchise. It wasn't just a hit, it was a juggernaut, with over 6 million copies sold globally. Donkey Kong 64 not only smashed expectations, but also cemented itself as one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo 64 platform. This commercial success was a testament to the game's broad appeal, innovative gameplay, and the enduring legacy of the Donkey Kong brand. But the game's impact extended beyond just impressive sales figures. In a world of speedrunning, Donkey Kong 64 holds a special place. The game's intricate level design, plethora of collectibles, and complex gameplay mechanics made it a prime candidate for speedrunners. Those gaming athletes who compete to complete games as fast as humanly possible. They embraced Donkey Kong 64 for its depth and complexity. The game became a canvas for showcasing skill, strategy, and sometimes exploiting glitches to shave off precious seconds. At the time of its release, Donkey Kong 64 was hailed for its ambitious scope and technical achievements. Critics applaud the game for its vibrant graphics, expansive world, and innovative use of the expansion pack. However, it wasn't all a barrel of bananas. Some critics pointed out the game's over-reliance on collectibles, coining the term the collectathon to describe its exhaustive array of items to gather. This aspect, while appealing to some players, was viewed by others as overwhelming and at times tedious. The sheer volume of collectibles and the repetitive nature of some tasks were seen as distracting from the overall experience. But alright, so after barrel blasting our way through the highs and lows of Donkey Kong 64, what's the verdict? Well, it's like finding the last banana in a tough bonus stage. Satisfying, but not without a bunch of jumps and falls along the way. Donkey Kong 64 wasn't just a game, it was a daring leap into uncharted territory. It took the charm of the Donkey Kong universe, threw it into a 3D blender, and added a sprinkle of wild ambition. The result? A game that was as groundbreaking as it was eyebrow-raising. In the world of video games, Donkey Kong 64 is a reminder that innovation isn't always about being perfect. It's about being bold, about taking risks, and about embracing the crazy, the quirky, and the complicated. This game might not be the pristine, polished gem in the Donkey Kong's crown, but it's definitely the most colorful, and let's be honest, the one we still talk about decades later. If you enjoyed peeling back the layers of Donkey Kong 64, click this video here to see more from the Retro Reload. And as always, thanks for watching.